Hello everyone and welcome into yet another live stream. Real productivity day? I really hope so. I really do hope so. That's because today we will be hopefully studying, believe it or not. Hopefully we'll be studying electrical engineering, that is. Electronics, I suppose. Let's see. That's because today another wheel. No, we're not doing another wheel. Today I would like to study up a bit. I think that's a good idea. Hi, the Black Thunder.
Hello.
Switch to live. I already did. Thanks, Reblax. Solving global warming in oxygen not included. That's how I always play on the frozen asteroid. I personally, that's my favorite. I would recommend you go find the ice biome, excavate it all, and then you can make the thermal backplates. The thermal plates that are normally used for conducting heat. You can actually make them out of ice, and that's the quickest way to melt ice, which both cools down whatever it is you want to cool down, and gives you cold water, which is highly valuable. But that's just my little piece. Anyway.
Yo, we got Roblox in here? That's epic.
Yeah, we got Roblox in here.
I got another game on Steam. You'll never guess what it is.
Is it building circuits?
So close. It's actually racing on circuits.
I think we found the textbook right away. That looks like a pretty good one. Yeah, I'm going to...
No, Stamp, I already have Factorial. Why would I get it again?
Hold on, I'm gonna put the link to this in the description. Like so. The textbook. And then this. And save. And there we have it. Today we will be mostly reading up, I suppose. I think I'll just be studying, honestly. Quite how thrilling, I know. I know.
How do you pronounce that?
Poincar?
I mean, okay, because I've always been yelled at for pronouncing the E with the dot and asterisk.
Poincaré.
Accent. Yeah. Like, I've always been yelled at for pronouncing it wrong. It's like, oh, you don't say Beyonce, you say Beyonce, right? And it's like, I don't say Pokemon, I say Pokemon like a normal American. Jeez.
I don't say meme, I say meme.
Me too, but not about jokes.
Assumes no prior knowledge of electrical quantities, systems or circuit theory. That's good. That's good. That's good. Alright. I'm gonna be skimming through the first couple chapters of the book because, well, they're the first chapters, they're never all that interesting. There's also AC circuits, that's neat. A laboratory manual. My goodness, quite something. Alright. Can you point to where I care? Why is it even called that? Wait, what? The hairy ball theorem. Well, it's because you imagine a ball with hair. That was the point.
It's because I was there.
Catholic somewhere, which is interesting and not true to prove. Yeah. Oh, let me play some music. I am in a bit of a somber mood today, but so we're gonna go with something calm. Do I have anything calm? No, that's good. I don't have anything. That's great. What about this? That is a lot of things. Why is this in my feel good folder? That should be music. That should be light music, not whatever that is. And now I'm imagining hairy balls. Good for you, you know? Good for you.
More people should.
Oh, this is a lot. Okay, for a digital measurement system, this is the lowest level digit display. For example, bathroom scale may show weights and yeah. Okay, so this is just measurement. Right. All right. Simple. Scientific and engineering notation. Also, I think I won't struggle with this. The metric system. I'm European. What are we doing? Oh, I'm just researching.
Maybe
Electronics.
I'm stupid, but what exactly is defined as a cowlick? For the
Well, I imagine a place where hair is wait.
A place where hair is, that is supremely helpful.
No, hold on. I just need paint for this. There is like a way of defining things in mathematics where you have a difference between it being local and global. Wait, no, I'm going off the wrong side. It's not needed. Never mind. It's basically like a place where the direction of where the hair is going on a line is discontinuous. So if hair is going to the right and then to the left and then at no point in the middle, and then at the point in the middle would have to be like not have a direction, be a zero. Well, I guess that wouldn't make it discontinuous.
If it was two pointing into each other, right?
Or I guess if you just had direction zero anywhere, that would be it.
You cannot have every hair be tangent to the sphere. Well, not with that attitude. I assume this is, like, considering an infinite amount of hair, right?
No, I think even with finite... No, well, I mean...
Assuming mathematically perfect amount of hair, right? Like, perfect coverage.
Well, reasonable. If you just have a donut, then you can do it. So if you, don't put hair on the top and the bottom, then that would work, but that's mainly because then you kind of have a donut. Tangent of even dimensional sphere has nowhere vanishing sections. I like the even dimensional. That's fun. The book has.
What's a zero-dimensional sphere? I don't think you can even have anything tangent in 0 dimensions.
Have you seen mathematicians? You think just because something, just because you think something is impossible, they'll accept that? No, they'll think harder. They'll outthink you until it is possible.
That is a good point. 2, I have not seen a mathematician because I do not go into their caves. They're fiercely guarded by things such as doors.
One day we're gonna find a way to open them.
Zero-dimensional sphere is 2 points. No, that would be 0 points because there's no direction. 2 points would be a line.
Black Thunder, you are not arguing with a mathematician about mathematics right now. You are...
No, the mathematician is arguing with a contrarian. I will win through attrition, I promise. I knew I was wrong 20 minutes ago.
Proof by attrition.
Sphere of dimension n is the set of vectors of length 1 in n plus 1 dimensional space, so it makes sense. Counterpoint, I don't understand the middle third of that sentence.
A set of vectors of length 1 in n plus 1 dimensional space, so it makes sense. That's like, imagine you have axes, right? Which, with each dimension, you'd add an axis that's tangent, right? What? I don't fucking know mathematics. Tangent to all the other ones, right? That's how dimensions work. Like, you have a plane, then in order to add the third dimension, it needs to be at 90-degree angles to both the underlying ones. Do you get that? Black Thunder.
Yes. No, I heard you. I'm processing it.
Yeah, so basically, if you have a plane, for example, then then a circle like this, that would be like a one-dimensional sphere. Because wait,
Would that
one-dimensional
not
because
be?
n plus
I was
one.
gonna say, wouldn't that be a two-dimensional sphere?
Well, I mean, according to what Roblox says, that would be 1 plus 1, so it would be one-dimensional.
So is a soccer ball a two-dimensional sphere?
No, that makes sense actually. Yeah, no, it is. Okay, I know it. I know it doesn't sound that great, but what you have to realize is that you're not talking about the ball. You're talking about the sphere, and there is a difference. So a soccer. So for example, surface of the Earth would be a two-dimensional sphere, like the surface.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like what shape is a soccer ball? It's a sphere, okay? For all intents and purposes, it's a sphere,
Well, I
right?
mean,
You're
no,
gonna
no,
tell
no.
me that's flat.
Yeah, no, because the difference is that like if you consider the soccer ball to be a sphere, then you're more talking about the surface rather
Yes.
than the
Well,
object.
yes, I know. Oh, okay. So it's just like a spherical geometry type of thing, not like a
Yeah,
sphere, the object. Okay, that makes sense. So
yeah, there's mathematics.
-2 is also an even number.
Don't push him. He can. This is funny because that would mean like it's curious because negative one-dimensional sphere is impossible, but like for a very unconventional reason. That reason just being that you cannot have a distance one from a point when point is all there is.
Yeah. So
But that's like but it's
what?
so funny. It's so funny to say that minus one-dimensional sphere is impossible simply because the
But
point
for
is in the
not
wrong
that
place.
reason.
Yeah, it's not impossible because like it's fucking mad. No, it's impossible because the definition of a sphere isn't allowing it. Well, I mean, okay, that's reasonable, yeah.
It doesn't work because semantics.
I said even dimensional spheres, which must be understood as spheres that happen to have dimension and even number. Does not imply there is a sphere for each even number. Not this again.
So math is just another semantic debate. Gotcha.
Have you seen mathematics? That's all there is. They don't deal with like physical stuff.
Math course. Look inside. Grammar.
No, like imagine if you had semantics, but you could actually define something. Like you didn't have to argue
Close
about.
enough. Welcome back, philosophy.
This is not really your typical semantic where you just go on the rabbit hole of synonyms. Only it's one where it actually works. Okay, but there exists a 1.58 dimension following so fractal. I mean, yeah.
I like the question under it better. I'm gonna be honest.
How hairy must my balls be before there are theorem?
See, that's a true thinker right there.
Oh yeah, of course. You can have negative dimensional spheres, of course. I didn't. Why did I? Yeah, of course you can. There we go.
Homotopical. Well, this is the month for that. Does math have to follow logic? Or is logic a subset of math? Can you change the rules of logic and define like a new kind of math?
I think you need to stop smoking so much weed.
I'm not smoking weed.
Or
I am
smoke
taking
more.
Tylenol. Actually, no, I've stopped taking Tylenol and I'm trying to distract myself. Another week and it should be bearable.
Okay.
Category theorists. Sounds like you know, like what kind of a word is unalive? Like you know what it is, right? Like, oh, you can't say Well, since we're streaming, I can't say it.
No,
But, like,
what, you
so you
can't
have
say...
to say unalive instead, right?
Wait, you can't say died, killed, murdered in cold blood, decapitated?
Well, I'm trying to keep your ad revenue going, right?
No, I don't want to lose my 10 cents.
Fuck. Okay.
Don't fucking swear.
Fuck. Shit. God damn it. I'm trying.
Oh yeah.
Category theorist. Trying to. This just sounds like racism for nerds.
Transfer of electrons from material not divide physical formula. So yeah, if some materials are good electrical insulators, charges will remain in the materials. They can build to very high levels, creating large voltage. Many plastics, such as polyester, yeah. Okay.
Apparently, I am made of plastic, according to this textbook.
What a wild conclusion. Glad you got it there.
Anyway, so you should probably save the picture of that cat.
That is a funny picture of the cat, I do have
Covered
to
in
say. That is
packing peanuts.
but I think this is a better actually visualization.
The very real bull and the very fake man.
The thing that throws me for a loop a bit here is the volt equals joule by coulomb, because then the volt is only in the context of movement, only in the context of applying energy, right? So this is the difference in potential. B has a higher electric potential than A. In other words, there is a potential difference between B and A, referred to just as voltage, denoted by a V, and has units of volts. No electron volt at 1 volt is defined. There was 1 joule per coulomb.
Why is joules W? That's watts. Come on.
That's because... Wait, why is... That's a good question.
Why did you do that? J is right there.
What's more, this would make sense as wattage per current, if I'm not mistaken. Like, watts per current would also work in this case, if I think. So W...
Right, okay. Wait. No, sorry, it took me a second to process that, but, like, I understand why coulombs is Q, because C was taken, obviously, but, joules should be J.
Yeah, joules should be J. I mean...
It's the reading comprehension test.
This is really... Oh, okay, so that, first of all, okay, I didn't notice that, I genuinely thought that was a different equation. Okay. Move one... Okay, so the thing that also screws with me is that in this image, right, you have A and B, and, like, there is potential difference between them, but they're a single object. Because if we were to move a charge... If we were to move a charge from one point to another, we'd have to expend energy to do so. This is illustrated in figure this. So this is us moving A to position B. And this figure would say that B has a higher electric potential than A. Why would B have a higher electric potential than A if it's the same?
If it moved. Because the energy would be making it move, correct?
I always thought as the potential difference.
So it would have the same amount of potential energy because the energy went in to move it.
We refer to this change as voltage.
It's like... So basically it's like stuffing it full of the energy and that's what moved it incidentally, I assume? I don't know, I'm trying to guess. It is now full of energy and in a different spot.
I didn't like ions, like a positively charged particle. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's something with charge. It's a charged particle. We don't actually care what the was. What we care is that we give it energy, it moves, and then there's a potential difference. Potential difference existing in the context of movement, I get that. I can see how that would be useful in DC circuits. But potential between a singular object as a result, because it's okay. In this figure, we would say that B has a higher electric potential than A. Why would you say that? Why? We would say that why?
Because, trust me, bro.
Hold on. I'm curious because the definition, there we go. Electrostatic is just the difference. Okay, potential difference is the difference in potentials. I mean, yeah.
Engineers once again making things simple?
Difference in electric potential between points are well defined even in the presence of time varying fields. However, unlike in electrostatics, the electric field can no longer be expressed in only terms of electric potential. Furthermore, the potential is no longer uniquely determined up to a constant and significantly different points and stuff. Okay. This I remember. This would be true if the shape was in an electric field, wouldn't it? I mean, but why would it be? We would say that B has a higher electric potential than A. But why exactly? Because if we are to move charge from one point to another, okay, so we have charge A, then we move it to B. So we move charge around. Is potential then just energy? Okay, so it's energy per charge. That makes sense. This would in this case mean that potential is just the, I think I've got it. It's a different way from how I thought of volts, which I suppose is a good reason why I'm reading this book. Power of emergency. In terms of power and energy are often used incorrectly as synonyms. Although related, they are not the same thing. As I mentioned, energy is the ability to do work. In contrast, power is the rate of energy usage. Power is denoted as letter P and has the unit of watts. I'm sorry, why is the what P? Okay, so right, no, okay, this makes sense because it's work and power. Like in this case, we have a T, not an S, because it's time, not a second. That makes sense. I just don't like it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's T for time, W for work, but they define it as energy in joules, so it should be E.
I mean, yeah, but in this case, let them have their work. Also, question: why can
W?
why can transition metals have like tons of different ionic forms, but when it's alkali metals or alkaline metals, you're restricted to a set number of valence electrons? Hold on, the thing is, after today's stream, I want to go to sleep because I want to restart my sleep schedule, so I cannot drink any coffee. And as such, it's only been 24 minutes. In my head, it's been like 7 hours, so give me a second. Also, question: why can transition metals have like tons of different ionic forms? Honestly, that's inorganic chemistry. I am really weak with it. I'm really weak with inorganic. If you want to ask me,
serves. It's because you change the orbital you're filling up, like partway through the middle of it. Again, if memory serves, I could be very wrong with that.
You mean going from S to the P?
Yeah.
That's a maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it would result in more.
I'm reasoning through it and very shaky on it myself.
Oh yeah, I just prefer to say I don't know because I just don't know. If you want to ask me physical chemistry, I feel better with that. I prefer physical chemistry. For a moment, a delicious peanut butter and banana sandwich. This sandwich contains a certain number of food calories, let's say 300 in total. A food calorie refers to a certain amount of energy that humans can extract from item food. The energy enables us to sumana, yeah, so makes sense.
I have to ask, why did they say peanut butter and banana when everybody knows what a PB&J is?
Because peanut butter and banana is just more delicious.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's not as ubiquitous.
That's what you're nitpicking at? The sandwich?
I'm also nitpicking at W for energy in joules, so I have nothing else. This is my only complaint. There's nothing organic about my chemistry.
Hi there, comedian. Hi, welcome. Well, the W is the type of energy we can be, but in this case, I believe it's the energy that moves something. Okay, so yes, it's work. That's what it's called. It's called work in physics. Because I guess they do want to just differentiate between potential and kinetic. And in this case, this isn't really all that potential most of the time when dealing with DC circuits. Multiplying the current with the associated voltage. To begin, we know the definitions of current and voltage. Right. Which makes sense. Power is equal to current times... Oops, not what I meant to click. Power is equal to current times voltage. Checks out. Yeah, because the first one is just charge per time, the other one is work per charge. Alright, so if we... because I really want this to stick with me. If we have some kind of charge that's moving forward past the point, then the charge, well, that's the Q, that's the charge it has. Then you have the time it moved through. Then how many charges are going past this point? That's the current. And then the voltage is the work it took to move that charge, which I'm still kind of struggling to picture that, but I mean, okay. Does the conservation energy exist? Because I had in the advertising video it's not, because of some mirror thing is not there. Conservation of energy, I think it's still a thing. Last time I checked, it was still a thing.
I would encourage you, instead of asking another YouTuber for physics advice, to go and learn it yourself if you are confused.
Actually, but that's a pretty
Because
rough
that
one,
way-
because we actually had this already on stream, and
Oh, we have?
yeah, actually the argument there is that it breaks in relativity. But that's okay. So in relativity, basically, I did the research on this on stream as well, because someone asked me. Basically, as you change the frame of reference, the energy is dependent on the frame of reference. That's the whole thing. However, I haven't been able to find a single claim that the conservation of energy actually breaks. I haven't been able to find a single source that actually confirms it solely, and it is an extremely advanced topic. It's extremely advanced relativity.
That Veritasium video. So I don't actually know his position on it, or at least the position he's promoting.
The power to bring them, given per unit cost of energy, and despite the fact that many people refer to local electricity supply as the power company, we don't buy power per se, rather we bill for energy. Make sense, okay, right. Battery is a device used to store electrical energy in the form of chemicals, different constant voltage. Its current varying according to what it drives. Oh, so for example, hold on, because this is actually already pretty neat to go in on, because inside of a battery we have speak of the farmer main, speak of the devil, because redox, the three of them, and then we have a wire, and then we have a reaction which is pushing electrons forward. So then the voltage from the battery is dependent on how much work we're putting per charge that we push through it. Which means that if we push a lot of charge, actually, then the voltage will drop. Right. Right. Okay, but if we start pushing... No, okay, it makes sense. I think it makes sense. I said Undertale maybe give the throne the power of the game Thunder comes out in 3 tomorrows. I know, I have heard actually. Damn it, where's my thing? There you are.
I can't believe you didn't add the new line to your background. It's a good
At least
line,
I'm not
you said.
Nattery. It is a really good line.
It's better to be vein than artery. It's so stupid.
I love it. E squared
Put
is
it on a shirt, sell it for $60.
It should not be of time that millions and millions of years energy gets lost.
Okay, but lost
Okay,
where?
that's...
Does it turn into matter?
Yeah, energy getting lost, that's a bit... In
Where
relativity...
does it go?
Okay, in relativity, changing the frame of reference, I get that. That makes sense. That seems like typical Einstein bullshit. Einstein done it many times. However, over long periods of time, energy disappearing, that's a bit more tricky. Because, unless you mean some kind of symmetry, because you mentioned mirrors, you mean symmetry breaking? Is that what you meant? Was that the word symmetry breaking?
I think they mean symmetry breaking. But also, not to say that they are wrong, like point blank or anything like that, but energy not being created or destroyed, but simply changing state is taken, as far as I know, axiomatically.
I mean, it is. That's kind of the whole point of energy.
Yeah, that's the whole point of energy. So saying it disappears implies it's going somewhere beyond everywhere.
No, okay, so my favorite example of that is the pet peeve of whenever I watch any kind of movie of sorts or anything like that, and I hear the term pure energy. Like, oh, this is a force field made out of pure energy. What do you mean by that? Because energy, effectively, in this...
It's made out of spinning left.
Energy effectively is just change. In my opinion, over everything that I've been over in physics, my conclusion is that the best way to summarize energy is just to describe it as change. If you have a lot of energy, that means you have a lot of change. If you have potential energy, that's potential for change. Kinetic energy, that's just change by movement, and so on and so forth. So pure energy is nonsensical.
By design.
Pure energy is just nonsensical because of that. Like, what does it mean? Something be a pure change, so on and so forth. The point is that the reason why it doesn't make sense for energy to disappear is because, like, energy is like the change, as I've mentioned so many times. So if you have one ball and this ball hits another ball,
and change.
The substance of change. One thing I got lost is that it could get lost just like when light gets redshifted. Okay, light getting redshifted, that's relativity, if I remember correctly.
Light getting redshifted, like, if you're talking about light losing power from one place to another, that's because is it inverse square, inverse cube? I can never remember, but like basically it's radiating outward in a sphere, and you're getting an increasingly small section of that sphere the farther you are from it, right? So less light in general is reaching you. Redshifting just means it's gonna is like the Doppler effect. It's not quieter or louder, it's just a pitched up or down.
Are you certain? Because, like...
I'm not certain, because I don't study this professionally.
Because light getting redshifted, that's basically light changing its wavelength. And
yeah, that's the Doppler effect.
And like light getting redshifted does mean it's lower energy. That's the only thing that gives light its energy.
Do you mean lower energy as in like specific impulse, or lower energy as in over time?
No, what I mean is like when you have a photon, then you have the broccoli. The broccoli. Oh, you can't see it on stream, but whatever. The broccoli energy equation for a photon. You get what I mean. I mean
The fact that
this.
I actually remembered how to spell it correctly.
Oh no, I always spell the broccoli
Yeah.
because that's just
No,
how it's meant to be spelled. Essential energy doesn't exist. I've been eating it 3 days and I still have energy since I'm on cocaine. I'm fucking weak. Verdasim said something like that, as much as I can remember. H divided by MV. That would be this. Yes. That is the broccoli wavelength equation. Which is basically like quantum field theory energy. That's basically what it is. And so the broccoli. And so I just can't seem to understand the connection between losing energy. I don't understand how loss of energy, because it would, with the redshift and everything, there would have to be relativity. And I mean, change of frame of reference, changing the energy, I get that. The Bronx wave. We're getting wildly off topic.
is it good enough? Can it go in the best comments?
The Bronx wave?
The broccoli wave, the Bronx wave. Didn't he play for the Lakers?
Why does it sound like LeBron James, actually? The Bronx wave. There's like... they share almost no letters in common at the right places. The Bronx wave. Why do they sound so different and yet so the same?
Same syllable count and cadence, and then the vowels are in the right spot, or close enough.
Are they?
A. Throw in the, it's BRON, right? Which is the same as LeBron. And the and la sound close enough to get them confused if you're not a native English speaker. And the only odd one out is the X at the end of Bronx and most of wave. Mainly because it doesn't end in an S. Now that I've explained the joke, I'm gonna put it somewhere. We have killed it.
Okay. So the battery voltage begins at the rate of 1.5 volts. It begins to fall after a certain point. The rate of decrease accelerates and drops off a cliff. Okay, so this is voltage to...
Then it should be losing potential energy and picking up kinetic, right?
What?
Because it's falling off a cliff.
No, yeah. I'm tired, man. This is, you can't do me like that. Alright, so service hours.
Those are quite competitive.
Okay, so this is the draw, right? I think. Yeah, and the higher the draw, the quicker it falls off. That makes sense. And then as we draw more and more from it, the voltage drops, which once again also makes sense, at least conceptually it makes sense, with basically the more difficult it is for the redox to happen, the less energy you have left in there, and on average the less work you will get, and the less work you will get, the lower the potential. So that makes sense, at least. I don't know if I'm reading this correctly.
Then it's bonuses and layoffs.
Yeah, then temperature also affects it, right? Battery side AAC, 9 volt.
Excellent naming convention. I'm so glad we skipped A, B, and just went straight to 9-volt with. Well, I mean, 9-volt's technically just like 6 AAAs packed together like sardines.
I think that both current and voltage deal with movement of charge. Any electrical system, voltage and current are related. Let us consider the most simple case. This would involve a single voltage source, such as a battery, driving a single homogeneous item such as length of wire, blocking material. The physical characteristic of this item will dictate how much current will flow in general terms. All right. Resistance, right? Yeah. Okay. This is resistance. That makes sense. I didn't read the title. I just figured out from this because a while back ago, when I was reading a textbook on library text about this, that's exactly how I was introduced. It makes sense. We have this resistance equal resistivity times length by the area, and then just a bunch of values. Yeah, this is the color code. I am not. Oh wait, what? Being linear, the current voltage direction can be drawn as a straight line. By arrow means the polarity of voltage direction current will not matter. In other words, unlike a battery, these devices cannot be inset into a circuit backwards because either orientation works the same way. Right. The steeper the line, the lower its resistance. Okay, so this is voltage current. Oh my god, okay. Are the election results already in for Polish president? I don't think they are yet.
You know you're cooked when 0.3%
Yeah.
is enough to consider it a landslide.
I mean, it's not a landslide. Okay, it is impressive. But
That's not much better.
It's funny. It's funny that it's a
Yeah.
0.3, honestly.
0.3%. Whoa, guys, we won by a huge margin.
And that's not just the exit poll. Now it's time for the counting, and now the fun actually begins with. Fucking hell.
Now, if they were smart, the. Oh, right, because the colors are backwards. The blue guy is going to hold a rally, and then.
What's funny is that Farmer Main just did the same joke as you. You Americans.
We have 4 jokes and they're all political, okay?
I just my friends cook and charges of physics, chemistry, messed up a bit. It was the first thing this on. Good luck, deep guy. Good luck. Okay. The voltage to this all makes sense. Yeah. Diode, this all follows. In my
Little
head, makes
does he
sense.
know.
I do. Yeah, I really do.
This isn't like foreshadowing or anything. It's just a statement.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yes, but you forget I also know very little.
I may be stupid.
Where is the picture I sent not 10 hours ago? There it is.
Europeans when they make a statement and not a European Union meant. Instrumentation laboratory. Oh, that's curious. Sources. Damn it, no. No, I'm gonna need to cite them. Accuracy is important to remember. Yeah.
Oh. That took me longer than I'd like to admit to understand.
Alright. Second chapter done. What's next? I'm just mostly skimming through this because, well, I'm a generalist. I don't actually learn things. I just remember them. I'm sorry, what? Americans when there's a decongestant and ice packs at the function. I am not familiar with that stereotype.
It's because that's their medical care. That's all their medical care is.
Oh.
Look, man, you're talking to me who is currently existing off of Tylenol and fast food. That'll kill you, even if you are careful. But, like, I haven't died because I was, so.
Okay. Effect equals cause divided by opposition. That makes sense. So the effect being, oh my goodness, in the last textbook I read about this, the I equals V divided by R equation got introduced in a much different way. Just curious to see it introduced this way. Yeah, that makes sense. Effect is equal to cause divided by opposition. Cause, where this is the energy inputted per charge, so that obviously would be the cause, and opposition is obviously the resistance, and then the effect is obviously the charge moving around. This all makes sense.
Stereoisomer is a chemical arrangement where you make two separate compounds by making a mirror image of the second one. You know, I thought it was the kind of material speaker cones were made out of, but that makes a lot more sense.
Oh, Kirchhoff, I forgot about that one. Yeah, okay. The key law governing the series second voltage law, KVL, named after 19th century German physicist Gustav Kirchhoff. The law states that the sum of voltages rises and voltage drops around a series loop must be equal 0. The rises and drops having opposite polarities. It may be rewarded as sum of the voltage rises around the series loop must equal the sum of voltage drops as a pseudo formula. Right. Now, why would that be? Why would that be? That's a good question. It's because when you have it in a series, I need to understand all this. I can't just read it.
What's the point of a company as nobody owns it? It exists to make money for itself and is owned by, well, nobody. maybe add some commas in there and resend it, because I'm having a very hard time understanding what your question is. So
There's a 7 ingredient recipe for the funny water white stuff out there roaming around, so do that what you will. Lycan, you've
there's
been
really
mentioning
only like 2 things you can do with that.
Lycan, you've been like vaguely referencing the process of making meth for such a long time here. It's not a joke, it's been weeks if not months.
Is it possible to induce excess estrogen?
What's a twink? Well,
It's a yellow sponge cake filled with frosting.
that was quick. Too quick, Black Thunder. Next time you need to like give it at least half a second. you know how sometimes people can seem too
I
not
read it
guilty.
like 20 seconds ago. I was waiting for you to acknowledge it.
Oh. Oh yeah, I'd open up Paint to try to understand
Also, you're
something.
tired. I did give it like half a second.
Oh, never mind. I didn't notice then.
You know you're tired when time stops passing.
Yeah, it's been 52 minutes. It feels like 20 hours. Okay. Electrons going around this, right?
If you're wondering what God feels when he exists beyond time, try staying up for 72 consecutive hours.
Or like nitrous, whichever one you prefer.
I was talking just about the non-existent time, but I don't have any experience with nitrous either, so actually that's not entirely true.
Whoa,
Cars
balls
can use it a lot better than people can. I haven't inhaled it, just my car has. See, that's another reason you should get a car.
Great reason.
Yeah, you can do nitrous together. At the same time, no less. Don't. That's probably illegal. There is a wub. Now there are two. There are two weeb. It's blank, so you gotta fill it in with your own, but...
You can steal nitrous from a dentist for free. You're not wrong.
Well, it wouldn't be much stealing if you paid for it anyway.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It would be for free, in fact. Kind of by definition.
You can have anything for free if you have good shoes.
Or a gun.
You still have to get away, bud.
You don't have to get away if no one's chasing you.
There will be reinforcements.
You can you can use HHO that you crack from, and it's near as good as N2O at raising octane, by the way. HHO?
I think they're talking to me. For the
No, I am wondering, what is HHO?
If that's not a cursed way of writing water, I'm gonna be upset.
That's what I'm wondering. It's water cracked apart. Oh, okay. Okay.
So, ionized water?
No, well... Okay.
Hydrogen hydroxide.
Hydrogen hydroxide. My favorite.
My favorite kind of rust, hydrogen hydroxide.
Hydroxide.
I wonder how it tastes. Must be a salt. Oh, that must be why it crystallizes.
Oh, there's this one.
Because it's just another kind of salt.
There's this one idiotic looking acid that I still cannot get over. Hold on, where is it?
Helium dimer?
No. Helium diamond is my favorite acid. I mean,
Yeah, because it's like
the
having a date
dumb
across the football field.
chlorine. Oh no, wait, helium diamond isn't an acid. Oh, sorry, helium hydride is an acid, but helium hydride ion. But chlorine hydrox. No, wait. Chlorine hydroxide acid. I think that's what it was. Hypochlorous acid. It's so idiotic because it looks like a base, and it's an acid. It's so idiotic to me.
103, give or take 3 degrees.
That's not bad. Not bad for measurement.
No,
But I mean,
I'm laughing at the way it's written because it's like, it could be like 100, it could be 106. We don't really know. Depends on how it's feeling that day.
okay, what are you thinking about? Hold on, because what do you think about this then? What do you think?
Well, this architect is going to be fired from a cannon. This is unacceptable. Your windows are unevenly spaced. None of your okay, never mind. In Arizona, that would be par for the course.
They are all so close to being 90 and 180 degrees. So comically close.
I mean, maybe to a mathematician, but
No, there we go.
Sorry, you're talking to a mechanic who is raised by engineers. I don't consider integers to be close.
If you're talking not allowed by law, like it's just a crime even if you aren't caught. Thanks for the crime tips. What is weird? It makes the How would you create such a thing? You mean the polyiodide thing? I imagine using iodine.
Heavy drinking. It couldn't have been intentional. It should not be 500,000 to whoever destroys it. Terrible Mr. Beast thumbnail. Oh, you have to have a carbureted engine, not fuel injection. Well, yeah, anybody worth their salt has a carbureted engine. If your engine is fuel injected, rip all that garbage out. Put in some magic tubes that mix the gas and air for you. Yes, I want electricity to control how much gas goes in my car.
What's he gonna display? Okay.
Use electricity for more better gas. Brown's gas is not good gas because while chemically it is good, the fact you have to electrolyze it to get it to actually work means it's less energy efficient. You lose energy by using it as a fuel. Source, I tried to design a plane that ran off of a pulse jet and electrolyzing water. It was too heavy to get off the ground effectively. You would have to launch it from, if I remember correctly, like a 2-mile long slingshot to actually get it to fly on its own because it took that long to reach its speed.
Still impressive that you done it.
No, I didn't do it. I gave up.
Oh.
I did the math. That's how. Maybe the design I was working with was really stupid, but counterpoint, it was the first draft. What are you going to do? I was just doing it to see if the math would work. And you either need the thing to be as large as a football field or massive runway because it just would not get to speed fast enough. And even if you did, you'd get about 30 minutes of powered flight before it had to glide again. So, not efficient. It's a good fuel, but once you've already separated it, and the whole point was keeping it as water so that you could fit more into the same space.
I love that movie Lycan. By Sia.
Doesn't like the Truman Show. If somebody hasn't liked the Truman Show, if somebody doesn't like the Truman Show, it's only because they haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but you would tell me if I was being Truman showed, right?
Sorry, you were away from your mic.
No, you would tell me if I was being Truman showed right now, right? If you were a paid actor, you would.
Yes, I'm a paying actor. If you were being Truman Showed, I'd drop a stage light on your head.
So it was you! Alright, I see how it is.
What do you mean it was me? Somebody did drop a stage light on my head. Twice!
Well, no. They just dropped the light. Just like...
Just the light.
Not even... They didn't even drop... They just dropped light.
Yeah.
A lot of it, too.
All at once.
Oh my
This
goodness,
Phobo
I should...
guy, what car do you drive? Or are you just a kid with dreams?
Fiat Panda. Those are who the real ones... What the real ones drive.
A what?
A Fiat Panda. That's the car for
What
the real
year?
ones.
What year?
Jeez, it's rude to our car its age, you know?
No, because there's a right answer and a wrong answer for this. See, because if you say the 1980 to 2003 one, very cool. If you say the reboot, I'm throwing hands.
I mean, the first... Oh, there are 2 reboots, actually.
I didn't look
Yeah,
into it. All I know is the original's good.
There's 3 generations, actually.
Only the first one's good. The 80s one is good.
This one is great.
Yes. That's why I said which year, because that...
Oh, that's the one I
color
remembered.
how
I
Okay,
didn't know that the newer ones even existed, honestly.
Okay, that's fair then.
Electrician was the thought that counts.
Phobos drives a fuel-injected Kia minivan. See, the fuel injection could be forgiven, but you drive a minivan, and it's a Kia. So, like, I can't respect you.
So out of the blue.
I'm sorry, I have strong opinions on vehicles. It's not like it's my job or anything.
I honestly cannot tell if you're autistic or just American.
The sad answer is a little of both. Not every car guy is American. Just look at Top Gear. All 3 of them are British.
The snob Americans. But the Americans are just the redneck British, so.
The British that survived.
Yeah, the British will be missed. Oh, I still remember the days back when the British people existed, you know?
Back when Britain was cool.
Those were... My guy drives an electric car. Oh, it took me a while to realize what accent you were doing, by the way. You've conveyed that accent really well.
Not
Not on bottom gear.
Make
Not
it drives an electric car.
Hammond falls off a fucking cliff. I like the argument that class and comedian are having, the argument of does a falling tree make a sound if nobody hears it? Because I've considered it such an idiotic question. Does it? Yes, it fucking does.
Did it
What
fall
do you
in
mean?
an atmosphere that can carry sound?
What do you mean if no one's around? Yes,
That's the important question. Because if it fell in the vacuum of space, no, it didn't.
Black Thunder plays a like engine from a Sumerian into a Fiat Panda. Submarine.
Yes, the thermonuclear powered Fiat Panda.
What is sound? It's waves. It's waves propagating through some kind of state of matter. It doesn't even have to be gas. Waves propagating through matter. Yeah.
Through a medium.
Through medium. Well, but I mean, the medium is matter.
I mean,
like light isn't really
would
sound.
you consider a photon matter?
No, it doesn't have mass.
But a photon is a wave and a particle at the same time. So your definition of wave is exclusive of one of the most famous ones.
What do you... I just said that sound is a wave propagating through matter.
Yes.
Where did you hear me defining a wave?
I thought you were defining a wave. I thought you were using sound as an example.
Yes, the definition of a wave. Wave is defined as the wave propagating through matter.
Or energy through matter. I don't know. Look, man, you're not the only tired person here. I'm just better at hiding it, I guess. This Phobos guy. The reason I can't respect your Kia minivan is, well, okay, is it yours? Or do you just, like, drive it because you need to get from A to B, and it's not actually yours? Like, are you borrowing the car, or, like, what's up with it? Yes, lol, 8... Okay, well, I can't forgive you for that. You've sat with it for 8 years. Anyway, I built a 2005 Mustang myself. I have pictures of it. Join the Discord, by the way. Show up, I'll show you what the car is.
Hey, just try getting into cars. What's the worst that could happen? And then you just meet like Black Thunder. That's just a casual user.
It's not. I'm not a Smurf, I promise.
Casual car usage versus competitive.
What's the matter with us? I want electric cars. The problem with electric cars is they burn for 3 days. If they're mildly annoyed. And they suck to drive.
You just need to like not set them on fire. Or just like leave them in.
Unfortunately, I don't drive around crowds, so I haven't killed anyone with it yet, but it is very hungry. It gets so much harder to drive by the day. You do have to feed them, like... There's a reason the Bible says death rides a pale horse. Have you seen my car?
I thought they meant like death as in, you know, the Grim Reaper that kills. I wasn't explaining like death as in someone actively dying.
No, but death is the Grim Reaper that kills. Yes, they ride a pale horse. The pale horse does the killing.
Yeah, but in your case, you seem to be the one that's getting killed very slowly.
I'm not dead yet.
Still very slowly over time.
That's called age. You're doing it too.
Well, I've never been struck by lightning. You've got struck by lightning for the both of us.
When they said take one for the team, I was expecting it to be only one. Your mom was struck by my lightning. Okay, that's just domestic abuse. we can't allow that here, bud.
Me building...
Oh, never mind.
Me building an extremely elaborate Tesla coil just to commit domestic abuse.
if you'll step onto my treadmill, the
Yes.
joke is on you. It's actually a Van de Graaff generator.
Would you mind stepping on this comically large X on the floor?
Red X.
Would you mind stepping on this comically large red X on the floor? That's definitely not covering up a trap door below.
I'm sorry, you didn't know struck by could be turned into domestic abuse? Maybe it's because I'm too schizophrenic, but I have to think of every possible interpretation of words first. Makes you a very careful speaker until you drink.
I'm not a car guy really. I'd gig over a ship, but not a car. They are too small and common, and maybe I'm too poor. If all my friends were yachts or satellites, Union is the meter.
Well, I'm drinking. Cheers. Hey, fair enough.
I get
Drinking
it,
makes
fellas.
domestic violence so much better.
Speaking of domestic violence and drinking, actually,
Cracking open a boy with the cold ones.
cracking a cold one open with a beer.
I'm not a car guy, really. Me neither. I'm a human guy.
that's a wacky superhero name, human guy.
Their superpower? They're not actually human. Obvious wink.
Is it a plane? Is it a bird? Is it a man? No, it's a human guy.
Walking
they
90
were
degrees 90 degrees off from the ground and floating.
they were a normal person once, but then they got bitten by a human. They've got bitten by a human
rabid
and
human.
a boy. They got bitten by a radioactive human.
They wandered around in the Chernobyl exclusion zone.
My goodness, class and comedian are arguing over this. It's killing me.
Well, fun fact, you don't have to read it. That's what I'm doing. Also, you have mods in the chat. If it gets out of hand, make them deal with it.
No, but it's the pain of like how idiotic the argument is that actually gets me.
I haven't been reading it.
It's like, it's as I mentioned, if a tree falls in the forest with no one to hear it, doesn't make a sound. It's still that.
If a tree falls in the forest, doesn't make a sound, is still dependent on, is this forest in like a medium that can propagate sound waves?
I can ban them without regret. Both.
See, I'd say you should ban comedian because so far he has been not funny. And that's like the one promise he made. So
That's a double blow actually. Wow, honestly. That's
not only are you wrong, you're boring. You call yourself comedian. That is a social contract you have signed in blood.
actually,
Whatever
or maybe
the digital equivalent is these days. I'm
or
not up to
maybe-
speed. I haven't been in a vampire circle in forever.
or maybe the joke is that they're not actually a comedian.
Yeah, I don't remember the Joker being a comedian either. You raise a good point. Are you secretly Heath Ledger? I want a truthful answer.
I mean,
Yes,
Joker
that
wasn't
was
funny.
The point. That's why I realized.
Wait, Joker? What do you mean Joker wasn't funny? Joker was hilarious.
Joker was not funny as a Joker. Joker was funny as a terrorist.
How am I supposed to respond to that? Just
True, I agree with your statement is a pretty good start.
if I agree with your statement, I'm gonna get put in a list.
Look, man, you play with chemicals. You're already on a list.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm on the European lists. Those are chill.
Oh no, MI 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Every highway is after you. Isn't that crazy?
Why do all Americans, by the way, have so many like organizations like CIA, FBI, NSA, Department of Homeland Security? What's the
Because
difference between
9/11
them?
happened, and now you can't even fly the plane anymore.
No,
God,
but I
they only
mean,
let the pilots do that? Jeez.
no, I mean, what's the difference between them? Why you all need so many?
The difference is we need more money to funnel into, like, the Patriot Act, which is to keep you safe by monitoring what you say on the internet.
Why just let the NSA do that?
That's what the NSA does. That's all the NSA does. That's why we also have the CIA for actual investigations, the FBI to enforce those investigations. Also, the CIA does that too. Department of Homeland Security is just funneling more money into the Pentagon. You know, things like this. They'll
think-
have their very niche roles, in much the same way every variable name can't collide.
I think we need a triple. I think we need to triple the defense budget. In my
I too have
opinion.
played Helldivers. Have you seen that Make It video? Not Make It, wow. Maxor.
Yeah, I have.
Too many YouTubers that start with an M.
There is 2 of them now. When will it end?
Two is 5 too many.
Make it. What did I do wrong? I'm the one saying tree does make a sound. I just am the committee that will make it. I'm just annoyed at the argument. I'm not annoyed at any of you personally. Well, class is making a very idiotic stance, so that's upsetting me too. But you know.
The CIA does terrorism on behalf of the US government. No, the CIA is part of the government. It doesn't do it on behalf of the government because you don't do actions on behalf of yourself.
Yeah, they do it as a US government.
Like, if you're holding a cup of coffee, I'm sorry for the sensitive subject, but if you're holding a cup of coffee, your hand isn't holding it for you, you are holding it. Like, it's a weird way of just saying things.
Because they want the military to hold all the cars. Yeah.
I like how on September 10th, the Pentagon was like, we seem to have misplaced $2 trillion. And then the wing of the Pentagon responsible for the finances is the one that the plane hit.
Wait, how do you misplace $2 trillion, by the way? Like,
it's called a corruption.
no, but I mean,
It's called they funneled it into people's pockets and not another gun.
But like 2 trillion, that's an impressive amount. That is truly impressive.
Yeah, but I was well, no, I wasn't. Never mind. I didn't exist yet. I can't complain. Why are you so depressed all the time? Can't you be happy for once? You have to remember I was born in 2002. I have not known happiness or a peaceful world ever. I was literally born post 9/11. It was 9/11 terrorism, right? Which led into the Great Recession, which led into the War on Terror, which led into the first Trump presidency, which led to the COVID crisis, which led straight to the second Trump presidency. I have not had a moment of peace ever.
I just want to say that this entire time, ever since we mentioned CIA up to this point, I've just been slowly scrolling down the list of CIA controversies. Yes, it took a fair bit, actually. But that's not all of them, if I'm not mistaken. I remember there was more.
That's just the ones that Wikipedia has covered that have been published. You have to read about MK Ultra. Project MK Ultra. That's a real good one for YouTube.
Oh, hold on, because we only went over the first one. All right. Yeah, carry on.
This is FBI. All right. So wow, that's a great picture. Anyway, Lizzo was involved with the FBI.
But like 2 trillion, no. What I'm curious about is because 2 trillion, that's a lot, and I don't mean it just in the money terms, like
It's just a
economically.
lot conceptually.
Yeah, economically, $2 trillion is something that you couldn't even spend that money. Just the attempt of spending it would just cause inflation on a national scale just by spending money.
Did you notice that Wikipedia edits was immediately followed by Florida shooting? For the Wikipedia
Oh yeah,
scroll that you're doing.
there's Wikipedia edits then because of the Florida school shooting.
Yeah.
Actually, Wikipedia edits, I'm curious about that one.
The US government lost a fighter jet because the US government has money to literally throw into the ocean.
Didn't you all lose 2 fighter jets?
We've lost a lot of fighter jets.
No, but I mean falling into the ocean. I don't think it was 1. I think it was 2
a lot
actually.
Of fighter jets doing that.
So America is such a. I wish America was a real. It's such a fun fictional universe.
Me too, bud.
So I can't think of just edits. Among the findings were that FBI computers were used to edit the FBI article on Wikipedia.
I don't like whenever a federal bureau that is supposed to control information says that they're going to increase transparency, because what they actually mean is they're going to take all of the stall doors off of the bathrooms and then weld them onto the office doors. So you can't get into those, and you don't have privacy either.
Hold on, because we're list of NSA controversies. Why do we only get ATF, FBI? There. Oh no, you should get National Security Agency. Really, NSA has only, well, I mean, it's quite a lot, but they don't have a dedicated.
The whole Patriot Act.
They don't have a dedicated article. That's upsetting.
Like, say what you will about the Spetsnaz, that's like a branch of the US government, comparatively speaking. You know what that is, right?
Spetsnaz, yeah.
Don't worry, guys, the counter-terrorists are here. It's the Spetsnaz! Gases the whole building.
I'm glad that we went on such a light topic, you know? That's good.
Yeah. Speaking of light, how's this electricity research going?
I feel like we're too tired to actually pull out. That's it, I'm ending it. We went too deep.
To pull out.
Piss off.
You said it.
You didn't have to repeat it, did you? That's on you. I'm done.
I don't know if on was the right word there, bud.
I'm done. I'm going to sleep now.
Alright, sleep well.
I am done with you all. I didn't have my coffee because I need to sleep.
Yeah,
life is suffering.
That is true, yes.
Remember when before the live stream I said I would go out and I would just script the video? I went out. I went out, I had a mental breakdown, I came back and I started the live stream. That's how I spent my evening today. It was a lovely. That's it. That's the YouTuber lifestyle. That's how we roll. Anyway,
people wonder where all the art comes from. It's like, well, the artists are suffering, and this is why they make art.
I don't make art. I make shitty YouTube videos.
They may be YouTube videos and they may be shitty, but they are still art.
I don't like to degrade art to that degree. Anyway, for now that'll be it. I'm going, I need to sleep. Thank you everyone so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.